Hey everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Owner's Box. I'm Billy Koch, founder and managing partner of the Little Red Feather Racing Club. Joining me alongside of, as always, back from Ireland and looking very dapper today, Michelle.
Oh,
Are
thanks.
you? Do you have a lunch date or something? Like what's going on?
Yeah, actually, as soon as I'm done doing this, I have to drive to Mike Smith's house
Whoa,
and shoot a little thing with him for the Saudi Cup
what
because
is a thing for him, and why do you
a
have
little
to
thing.
move your
So
shoulders?
they are officially awarding Midnight Bisou the victory of the
Ah,
inaugural Saudi Cup, and so we are doing like a little sit down piece. I did Jeff Bloom last week, and gonna go do Mike today. So yeah, I have clean hair and a shirt that's not a t-shirt on.
it's pretty amazing. I mean, you really clean up nicely. Our audience is going to be fantastic, really happy
Brian's gonna be like,
with
"Who's
you.
this chick?"
Yeah, who is
I
this?
know.
I mean, no
Because normally it's
ponytail.
definitely dirty
I
ponytail
can't I
and
can't smell you from here. You have no
I'm
horse odor.
never that stinky.
So I mean, we're gonna have a great show because Clint Cornett
Cornett?
is going to join
Mhm.
us today and talk about C2 racing stables that have been off to a red hot start here in 2025. But more importantly, I do want to hear a little bit about your Ireland trip, and I think people out there listening would like to give some advice on where to go. How was my advice?
Your advice was fantastic.
Good.
So one of the girls absolutely loved Coolmore. So we did get to Coolmore because of
That's
you.
awesome. Okay.
And we spent like 4 hours there.
Did you go
And
into the room with all the trophies, the
the
trophy room and everything,
museum, the
and the
private
video
museum,
board? How great is that
yes.
video board? So if you haven't been there, they have this. They have this giant video screen, and then they have this like almost like a
It
giant
looks like a
iPad,
Star Trek switchboard, right?
right? And
Yeah.
you could say like, I want to watch Caravaggio win the Grade One, whatever
Yeah.
it was, and you just press a button and boo, it pops up. It's awesome.
It was really cool.
Yeah,
So we
and
got to
what
the
about the
stallions.
paddocks for all the stallions where they're like it's almost like you're in a castle and they
Ye
have their own
Well,
like
they have their own cottages.
right. It's
I
amazing.
loved that. Actually, let me see. I have so we went down and saw the stallions in their cottages, and
Who's your
uh
favorite?
we got to I'm a big Wooten Bassett fan,
Okay.
so that was cool. But like City of Troy and August Rodin were there.
Did you see
Um
them both?
yes, so we got to
Oh
see
my
them both. We
goodness.
did not get City of Troy out because as on tilt as he was during Breeders' Cup, he was like
Even more.
yeah, he was like in the stall and chomp, 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 chomp,
Yeah.
chomp, chomp.
Did you see
Like,
Camelot? Is he still there? Because I remember he
yes.
was
So
really
I
impressive.
have to turn off my thing.
Oh, yeah, you can't
Yeah,
see it.
my thing is blurry. I don't know. I have to turn off my blur screen, but
I liked
I'll
Camelot
post
for
something.
some reason, but I didn't
It's
get to see.
really cool.
Yeah, it was an amazing place. I found it just breathtaking. I don't even know the word. It was
We
awesome.
got to see I gotta clean my little lensy guy here. We got to see Australia. He looked really, really good.
He's
And he
cool.
was so
Yeah.
friendly. Like the kids like walked up to him and were like holding him pretty much. So it was pretty incredible to get to go there. I think my favorite thing we did the whole week though was we drove to Northern Ireland and we went to the Titanic Museum and then
Oh
we
wow.
went to Giant's Causeway.
Yeah.
And that was probably one of like the top 3
Wild.
things I've ever done in my life was
Yeah.
Giant's Causeway. Like
Yeah.
it was incredible to see like this whole area and like how it's all natural. It was just phenomenal.
It's pretty wild. Yeah. And it's also wild when you go and you say, "Oh, I only knew the horse." Like I didn't really know what Giant's Causeway was.
I'll tell you what, there are so many Irish places that are horses.
I
Like
know.
Olivia was like, I know that name. I know that name. I know
Yeah.
that name. And it's
How was
all
the
from the track.
Jameson tour?
We got there
Oh
too
no.
late to get on the Jameson tour. So we drove by the we drove by the gates and got to say hi.
Yeah.
And then I drank Jameson, but we didn't
Okay.
get to together tour because we were only in Dublin for the one day.
How many
And
orders of fish and chips did you eat?
0.
No?
I don't eat fish and chips.
Oh, it's so good there.
Okay, so I got overall like the food
Not great.
stuff was just not great.
Yeah.
We did have so our first night we ate at a pub and I had like a shepherd's pie and it was very good.
Yeah.
And then the last night we were there, I found this like random place. My
Whoa.
light died. I found this like random place called Boxy or something like that, and
Yeah.
they make what are they called? They're basically like an Irish latke, right?
Really?
They're like a potato pancake kind of, and it was so freaking good. I had like blue
Oh, those
cheese.
are two good experiences. You said the food was not great.
The food I had, that was the one good meal I had, was
Okay.
this boxy place at the end of the trip, and it was like these blue cheese potato dumplings
Mm,
in this like cream sauce. It was
okay.
unreal good. Everything else was just meh.
Now, I have not been on TikTok in days, but I'm assuming you have like reviews of Ireland on your TikTok somewhere.
I think I've only posted one TikTok from Ireland because I was literally like too exhausted to like make my stuff. Yeah, I only did one. Oh, two. I did one for you that was singing in the airplane where I was
Okay.
doing songs.
Oh, I got
And
to get
then
that. All right.
I did one that was like me walking like this through like all this stuff until I got my first drink.
There you go. Okay.
So that's it so far.
Okay.
But
Well,
more to come.
more to come with Michelle Yu's amazing TikTok and all of her followers. Do you want to bring in Clint, or do you want to talk about a little bit about what's
Well,
been going on?
he
We
is
haven't
not
been
here
here for
yet.
2 weeks. Okay,
He's not
2
here
weeks.
yet.
We
So
got a bunch of stuff to cover, I'm sure, and we haven't done three
what
things.
can
to
you
know in
remember?
months.
What can you remember? That's my question.
All I remember, honestly, is just the negativity out there regarding horse racing right now. Obviously, I'm on X and I read all this shit. It's truly amazing. Someone actually emailed me yesterday and they're like, "Hey, are we done in Southern California?" I'm like, "No, we're not done. Like, we're fighting. We're trying to get more money for purses. We have,
I mean, on the flip side of that, we just announced at Santa Anita
purse
purse
increase.
hikes, purse
Yeah,
increases,
good,
right?
good. We need it. Yeah, but I
Mhm.
just don't. I don't know. It's very tough sometimes to keep your head high when you are just overcome and what's the word?
Well, overwhelmed with so much
Overwhelmed with,
negativity,
that's a
really.
great word, with negativity all the time. And like the reason you and I wanted to do a podcast 15 years ago or whenever we started was to just keep the positive aspect, talk about owners getting into the game and their experiences. And we've had so many people come on this show and talk about how these horses have really changed their lives and brought so much joy to so many people. And I think that gets lost. I think
Mhm.
we have just turned to all negative all the time. This person's a juicer. That just bugs the hell out of me. This person's cheating. Horse racing has no leadership. Like, I don't. All that stuff is just like it to me. It's yes. Is it important? Of course. Like we need to be a better society. We need to be a better business. We need to do a lot of things differently. We need to wake up and join the times. Right. I still feel like sometimes we're back in the Stone Age with some of our
Mhm.
technology. But just the constant influx of negativity at some point, even for someone like me who's super positive, you and I were talking about that the other day. Even me, I get like, what am I doing? Like, what are we doing here? And you want to do things, I'm on plenty of boards. I'm trying to help and put in the time. But you do get frustrated sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, it's very frustrating to continuously be the positive person, and then you have people tell you, "Oh, well, you never say anything negative." It's like there's plenty of negativity. How about
Right.
focusing on something else?
It's almost like the news. I used to say, I wish there was a station that just reported good news. Just good news. Just nobody, no burglaries and robberies and earthquakes and tornadoes and whatever it is, no fires. Just good news. Like someone did something really good today. Cool. Like
Right.
let's have a half-hour program of it's called Good News every night.
You know what? That would be kind of fun. We should do that.
We should. Just good news.
Have our
This
own
is the
news
horse.
station.
Well, we can make our show Good News Horse Racing. We're not going to
Good
bring
news horse racing only? Okay.
all the
Well,
all the
I
bull.
know someone that's the deliverer of good news, and that is Clint Cornett, and he's about to join us. Are you ready
Okay.
for him?
Yes. Let's
All right,
go.
let's bring him on. Hi.
My man. How are you, Clint?
How are you guys?
I love that you wore the C2 shirt. I love that you're
I
a
gotta
branding guy.
represent, right, man?
You're a branding guy like me. Yeah, I
Look
get it.
at
I
the
get it.
background. Well, Billy, where are all your trophies like that? Look at
Well,
that.
first of all, I don't have as many trophies as Clint. Second of all, I am not in the suite at Santa Anita. I am in my living room, so that's not good. Probably, my wife was like, I think I have a trophy in here somewhere. I do. Oh my God, you guys are gonna laugh.
Okay.
Wait.
Oh, I have one
Wait.
trophy also.
Wait,
Well, Barely gets his. Mine
look
is
at this.
because I was the handicapping champion at work one year.
Wait,
That's
you
the
were-
only
wait.
trophy I have.
Can you see that?
Oh yeah, what is it?
It's beer. Can
Maryland
Man.
Jockey Club?
Jim
Oh,
McKay.
Beer Can Man.
Yeah. So I do have a trophy in here. I do. Just wanted that on the record. Clint, What's going on, man? What a great start to the year. First of all, let's get that out of the way. Congratulations on your start. I mean, you got to be thrilled right now.
Yeah, it's been unbelievable. I mean, Eclipse Award, with
That
Soul
doesn't
of an
suck.
Angel.
Yep.
Then we win the Inside Information G2 with Mystic Lake.
Yep.
And then the big horse come back and win the Pegasus. So it's been a hell of a start, I'll tell you, Billy. Being in this business, right?
Hey.
I like how he started right at this year and didn't even mention the fact that he won the Breeders' Cup.
No, that was fine. That was years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, we're moving forward. Clint, before we kind of get started, and we know your C2, we know with your brother, Mark, and the whole story, but a lot of our listeners probably don't. So will you take us back in time and just tell us a little bit about how you got started in ownership?
Yeah, absolutely. So, you've known Mark a while, Billy. So he's been in the game forever, and I was back in a minority ownership in Turf Express when he ran under Turf Express back primarily at Lone Star, and in Louisiana Down, Shreveport, those tracks. Had a stable of about 90 horses running all over the country, mid-level, low-level claimers. That was the game we were playing at that point. 2004, we had a horse, or Mark had a horse, Tam Wheel, that ran in the Breeders' Cup at Lone Star and got fourth. And
I remember that day.
He sold that horse privately. And I jumped out of the game, and Mark stayed in as a bloodstock agent and just doing a lot of different things within the business. And
let's stop there. I don't want to interrupt you, but you say you dropped out of the game. Why?
I started a technology company, and I wanted to focus on that. Had young kids, and really wanted to focus on family and the business. And
terrible excuse.
Yeah, I know it is, isn't it? And then through the fortunes of hard work and successful business, I went back to Mark in 21 in the summer. I said, "Hey, I think I want to get back in the game." And he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And I said, "I'm not looking to get back in where we were playing." Right. I said, I'm ready to, if we're going to get in, let's get in. And, the second horse he brought to me was White Abarrio, that he saw, break his maiden at Gulfstream, and said, "I think I found us our second good horse." So, we pulled the trigger, and he had a deal done, I think the next day,
It is funny. And I don't know if Michelle knows this, and Clint, I don't even know if you know this, but there was a while when Mark was out there, and Clint, correct me if anything I say is incorrect. And Mark was a really on top of things. He watched a lot of races, and he would send horses to buy all the time,
right,
for other people. And then all of a sudden, and in 2021, as Clint said, Mark, he wouldn't send anybody horses, and all of a sudden he was buying horses. And so people would say, how did this happen? And then everyone would just say, "Oh, he's got a rich brother." That was it was like any horse you tried to buy, like any private purchase that I tried to buy after 2021, it was always like, "Oh, I already got a $400,000 offer from Cornett." It was like every single horse. He was aggressive. So
yeah,
I'm sure he was very glad you were back in the game.
No, he's more than happy about it. I can tell you that. So he is a partner with me in C2 as well. So. He's basically the racing manager for the business. Like you said, Billy, he watches so many races, scours the entire country, just trying to really look for, horses that are either being mismanaged, or he thinks that we can move up, from a trainer switch, or, dirt to turf to dirt, shortening, the horse up. Making it a route horse or whatever. He has some pretty good visions when it comes to that. And I'll use Soul of an Angel as an example.
I was about to say Soul of an Angel. Perfect example.
That poor horse was running 2 to every 3 weeks, routing. And, he called and he said, "Hey, take a look at her. If you go back and look, her best race was around 1 turn."
Yeah.
And he goes, "I think I want to shorten her up back to 1 turn. And I think we can have some success with her and move her, over to Safi." And, we've had great success with her, and she is a huge mare. You go into the barn and you think she's a colt.
Yeah.
She's unbelievable, her conformation, but That's just one example. I mean, he has always had an eye for that, Billy, and he's done a tremendous job for our barn. I can tell you that.
Clint, you seem like at least the kind of background guy, but now that we have you on the show, you're also very knowledgeable. Are you okay kind of taking that back seat and just like kind of being along for the ride, because you got your trophies? You're obviously very handsome, as Michelle would attest. But are you okay with that? Because a lot of people aren't. Like, a lot of people come into this game and they want the attention. I don't feel like you want the attention.
I don't necessarily need the attention. I mean, the attention really needs to be on the horses, the trainers, the people on the backstretch that are just working day in and day out. I mean, when we go to the track, I might show up and spend an hour back there, and looking at all the horses, talking to all the people. But I mean, Billy, I'm not in it for that type of recognition. I mean, I don't have to be the forefront of it. And Mark and, our relationship is great because he enjoys being at the track. He enjoys, scouring the country, looking for the next big one, hopefully. Yeah. And I support him in all of his efforts. And, he comes to me all the time. He wants my opinion, obviously. Yeah. I'm not the horseman that he is, in no means, but I'm going to ask questions, and he listens, and it really works out well.
How many horses do you guys have right now?
Let me look.
Yeah, look.
48.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. And do you bring it now? Mark Martinez, our very good friend, who's been on the show many times. We're partners with him on a few horses, and he's the greatest. How did he get involved with Soul of an Angel? Was it did he buy in when you guys bought in? I actually don't know that story.
Yeah. So my brother Mark, found Soul of an Angel, then connected with Mark and said, "Hey, you want to come in on this?" So they've known each other for 20 plus years.
Yes, he's bought a lot of horses from Mark.
Mark actually, Cornett got Mark into the game back in the day. Yeah. And, so they've stayed connected over the years. And, if we see something that we think we might want to pull him in, that will fit into his program, he'll jump on board, or he'll tell us, hey, I'm not interested in jumping on board on this one.
Yeah.
So
interesting.
Do you guys do a lot of partnerships? Because I feel like I just see your silks the majority of the time.
Well, that's good management of the partnership, right? Branding.
That's branding right there.
That's branding. It's branding.
But we do when we feel like, we want to minimize our risk, right? I mean, that's really what it's about from that perspective, and pulling in other partners. And then the good thing about it is we're pulling in new people that haven't been in the game.
Sure.
So it's nice to see that as well,
Let's talk a little bit about White Abarrio, he's done almost everything there is to do. We're going to go into the decision to skip the Saudi Cup and in a second, but there was a trainer switch last year or the year before. I can't even remember now. It's been a while, but like what can you give us a little background of what happened there and what the decision was on that? Yeah.
I mean, we're all aware of what transpired at Churchill with
right.
Safi, Kentucky Derby Day, and the actions that we took with him and having to switch the trainers were a direct result of what happened, right? Because Kentucky suspended him temporarily, and then New York did the same thing. Mm-hmm. And our Mark and Safi had always, the path for the horse was to go to the Met Mile that year.
Right.
And, I think we were 3 weeks out from the Met Mile, and, we're communicating every day, trying to find out what's transpiring. Is this thing going to get cleared up or whatever? And it never did. So, Mark has known Rick Dutrow for quite a long time as well. And, we're just going down the list, Billy's been in this business long enough, right? I mean, a lot of the trainers 3 weeks out aren't going to take the horse.
Yeah.
For 3 weeks out from the Met. And, Rick is so professional, and he's like, yeah, I'll take the horse. I mean, Safi's a great trainer. I'm sure the horse is conditioned, and I'll work it for 3 weeks, and we'll go see what we can do. And he ran well there, and he ran well, when we shortened him up back at Gulfstream, You know, we were supposed to go on the Churchill Downs handicap, and we had to scratch because of the Safi situation.
Right.
So he missed the race going into the Met Mile, which wasn't ideal, but you know, all those circumstances were really out of our control.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. I know it's difficult when you have to do that with a trainer, especially one that you respect as much as Safi. You know, listen, Safi's name is out there. He's, you know, that whole thing at Churchill. I know what that's like. It's difficult when someone who you respect, who's done so well for you, you know, gets in trouble. I'm putting quotes around it.
Yeah.
And Safi's name comes up a lot because he's so dominant down at Gulfstream. Is it difficult for you when you sometimes when you have to read all this shit? Michelle and I were talking about the negativity that's kind of prevailing in our sport right now. How do you handle that?
You know, I think you really just have to put it all in perspective, right? So what's the human nature, right? You're successful and they try to just beat you down, right? Knock you off that pedestal. And I mean, and not only Safi, it's any trainer that's at that level.
Right.
You know, and we've dealt with a lot of different trainers, and I'll tell you, in my opinion, Safi's a top trainer in the country. I mean, no doubt about it. You know, and Billy, you know, you're as good as the horses you have in your barn, right?
100%.
And when he started out, you know, I mean, when we first connected with him, you know, he had some good horses, but he wasn't playing at the level that he's at now, you know, because his barn, I mean, you know, a direct result of, you know, what we've accomplished with him, he's getting better horses from other owners, you know, as well. You know, Safi is nothing but a quality individual. I can tell you that. And I'm a pretty good read on people, and I have been my entire life. And if I thought otherwise, he would not be our guy. And I can tell you from my personal relationship with him, his wife, Morgan, his kids, I mean, the family environment is really just unbelievable.
Very
you know,
cool.
Between that entire family. And, you know, I think he's just getting started, Billy. You know, I mean,
wow.
He's 36 years old.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I mean, think about that. What he's, you know, starting to accomplish at 36
All I can think
years
about
old.
when you say that is how old I am. Is that selfish?
You know? Yeah. Let's not go there.
No, let's not.
Michelle's the young one.
Clint Cornett joining us on the Owner's Box. Go ahead, Michelle.
I want to get back just a little bit to White Abarrio and bringing him back this year. Obviously, you know, he had a big gap there, and he came back with Safi, and you guys turned him back in distance again. And I have always thought he's a better 2-turn horse, but then he comes up with some really great 1-turn races this year.
Yeah, you know, all credit really goes to Mark and Safi on managing the horse that way. You know, we sort of duplicated what he did previously. You know, they cut him back twice. And then they routed him, and that's when he ran his best number in the Whitney, you know. So, and they were like, okay, so we know what works, right? So let's just duplicate that. And I mean, he fired again. I mean,
why are we skipping the Saudi Cup?
Especially with a new partner.
You know, I think, well, number one, we're trying to think about the horse and what we learned the first time, right? So because we went over there, you know, and obviously we had a partner that wanted the horse to come over there and run. So, you know, we obliged. And I think we learned a lot, because if you really look at his 24 campaign, he lost an entire year from going to Saudi. I mean, this horse could have 2 or 3 more grade 1s if he ran last year, you know, in a U.S. campaign. But, you know, you live and learn, right? And so we learned from that, and we decided, you know, it wasn't in the best interest of the horse. Coming off of that big Pegasus effort, running almost another career best number, and then, you know, travel 18 hours over there, however long it is,
it's
and
tough.
then the 30-day rest. You know, 30-day rest. This horse likes to be in one place for an extended period of time before he goes out and runs.
It's like me and Michelle. We just like to be home. Like I don't like to go anywhere.
Preferably in our pajamas.
We do this. I do this in sweat.
I gotta ask too about like just the longevity that he's had for you guys, because even though he's not super fancy bred, you know, after winning multiple grade 1s and being versatile and win the British Classic,
how is he not super fancy bred? His grandsires are Into Mischief and Tap It.
Yeah, there you go, Michelle. What do you know about breeding?
But he's got race day. He's a race day.
Yeah, well, let me see. all of my kids weren't great athletes, but I had one great athlete. You know what I mean? So
yeah, there's always a
but
chance to
I
have
mean,
one.
look, as racing fans, we're so happy that he stayed around, right? And we get to see performances like this and a horse that's gives us continuity as we're trying to follow the sport. But what went into the decision to keep him racing?
Well, I mean, in talking with Mark and Safi, number one, we had to determine could the horse still run at the level that we were accustomed to him running, and we really didn't know that until that 7 furlong one at Gulfstream where he win by 10 1/4, I think.
Under wraps.
And we were like, okay,
So
what?
he
I
looked
said
so
under
good.
wraps. He looked great. He
Yeah.
looked amazing that day.
Yeah. But I mean, as long as the horse is happy, healthy, and can run, probably the race day factor does come into it a little bit.
Right.
I mean, that's just the reality of it, right? But I think
were there any people out there like asking for stud deals? Like, did anyone say, "Hey, it's
oh
time
yeah. But we didn't think it was time, for what we really wanted to try to accomplish. Honestly, because we're more about racing than breeding.
Yeah.
When you run a sort of a program like we have, I think he will go to stud next year. So he'll run through this year and then he'll go to stud next year.
You talked about the C2 program. I want to talk about that, Michelle, if you're okay, because
Billy, we can't give you all of our secrets.
That's exactly what I wanted. Here's my preface. Okay. I'm in the private purchase market as well. I try to buy horses that have run. I'm a little bit like Mark. I watch a lot of races, and I have found in the last year that it is getting more difficult. People either don't want to sell, their prices are way too high. How have you, because you've kind of built this company on these private purchases, how have you been able to do it? Like, you don't have to reveal your secrets, but do you feel somewhat what I'm seeing as well, or am I off?
No, I 100% agree with you. We're seeing the same thing. It's more challenging buying them privately for market value, right?
Yes.
And that's the key, right? I mean, because you can't overpay for your entire barn.
Correct.
But we'll buy some at the sales. I mean, like Mystic Lake, we bought at the sale. I mean, we buy. We're very selective on what we're purchasing at the sales.
So will you be going to like OBS March and OBS April and looking for 2-year-olds, or is it just mostly yearlings?
No, we'll look for 2-year-olds in training. Yeah. We did buy. We just bought 6 yearlings at the last sale that are now 2-year-olds. So they'll be coming to the track later this year, hopefully.
Nice.
But no, I mean, back to your point about the program and purchasing. I mean, it's hard to buy them from anybody, So I think the reality of it is you might have to overpay, Billy, a little bit, and
like if you find one you really like.
I'm fortunate to have Mark in my corner, right? Because he's got a keen eye for horses, I mean, I'm sure you are aware, but he put together the deal for Blind Luck back in the day.
Yeah, Peter Abarrio.
2 Eclipse Award winners. So he's got the track record of finding horses that, mismanaged.
Yeah.
You can move them up with the trainer switch. There's just a lot of factors involved.
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because Michelle and I have talked on this show about, and it's whether you do a private purchase or even claiming, you have to have a plan. You have to have a reason to buy that horse. You can't just say, it's a good horse, we want to buy it. It's exactly what you're talking about. So I know, Michelle, I know you have questions, and I've like totally taken over this.
And he is very detailed about that, right? He will not consider purchasing anything without a plan. And it might be a 3-4 race plan if he thinks the horse could potentially improve, how he feels it could improve.
Yeah, it's a great way. This is kind of even more personal, but do you guys sit down at the beginning of the year, at the end of the year, and sit down and do, a budget and a spreadsheet and say, this horse has done this, we've got this horse we kind of get rid of, it's time to move on? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, we're analyzing that all the time. I mean, because you just can't hold on to these horses. You know, I mean, it's not, you're not going to be able to continue moving the business forward as you want to. So we'll turn out of some of them, whether we, you know, sell them privately, put them in a claimer, retire them. I mean, it just really depends. But, you know, I mean, we really consider that because, you know, I don't want 100 horses, Billy. I want, you know, I want 30 to 40 top quality horses, you know, running at a high level. So that means if we need to turn out of some of them, you know, for the business, we will.
Do you have an aftercare program that?
Oh, wait. Before you get to that real quick, because Clint is like, we'll have a whole segment about aftercare here. But I do want to ask a really quick question. Like, do you ever call Mark and you're like, hey, I feel like the older filly division is really weak. I want you to find me a horse that fits this, or you just let him come with whatever he comes with? No,
he pretty much brings me everything. Yeah. You know, unless, you know, I see something, I'll say, hey, go take a look at this. You know, I don't ever say, hey, I want to go buy this. You know,
that'd be dangerous.
Yeah. I mean,
well, you know, there are some groups that, hey, this is what they look for, right? They look for only this type or only this type. So, but I feel like you have a very well-rounded.
We're not selective on what we buy as long as it fits into the program and we have a plan for it. You know, I think to Billy's point, we don't buy anything without a plan.
Yeah. Interesting.
So Billy was, jumping into aftercare, and C2 is so active on social media. Basically, a lot of these horse rescues are pulling horses from kill pens, and you guys step in constantly and donate whatever fundage is needed to kind of cover the residual to make sure a horse is saved. Why did you get into that? And
thank you.
Well, thank you, obviously.
You know,
but how because a lot of people I think are scared to take that step into that like realm.
Well, I think, you know, we have a couple of scenarios, right? I know you're calling it aftercare. I call it horse rescue.
This scenario is definitely rescue.
What I do, right? So we do horse rescue from the auctions, you know, AKA kill pens. You know, that's, you know, we connected with Marlene Murray at Race Fund, I think 3 years ago. And I'll tell you, I've never met somebody so passionate about finding the thoroughbreds that have been put in these horrible situations. And, you know, bless her and all the people that she has connected with around the country that do this, you know. And I mean, you guys have seen the pictures. It's just atrocious on the condition these horses get in. And, you know, I mean, short of a long answer, Michelle, we do it because it's the right thing to do. And we have, you know, the capacity to help. So we just feel that it's the right thing to do in supporting Marlene and her group and the horses. And, you know, she's connected. I mean, I think I don't know how this ends up happening, Michelle, but how I end up owning some of these horses, you know, that we get. And I've got 3 of them right now up at Thoroughbred Athletes in Oklahoma City with Lynn Sullivan, who's a wonderful, passionate lady about, you know, taking care of these horses. She was fortunate enough to come down to the Pegasus weekend. So she got to come in the winner's circle for the Pegasus and then the inside information that Mystic Lake won. But, you know, that's the least I can do for the horses and for, you know, the people that are out there doing this every day. I mean, they're very passionate. And I will want to speak to, you know, Marlene is so passionate, and you've seen some of the stuff she's posted on probably X regarding all the horses that she finds, you know, verifies their ex thoroughbreds. So unfortunately, due to her posting all of this on X, the TAA withdrew her accreditation because they do not want that side of the business to be out there in the public forum, which is unfortunate, right? Because it's reality, right? No. And like in any business, you have the good, the bad, and the ugly, right? And that's the ugly part of the business. And, you know, so if TA watches this, you need to give her back her accreditation because it's just ridiculous, you know, because she's doing a lot for thoroughbreds across the country.
It's a good point.
Is it a fine line. I remember vaguely reading about that, right? But was it because she was promoting kill pens that they are in existence, which we all know? Or is it because they don't want to like continuously feed into it where more horses end up that way because people are making a buck off of it?
It was because she was exposing it.
Okay.
In my opinion, based on what I saw on X.
Interesting. Clint, we have taken up way more of your time than we expected, and I think Michelle would agree with me to say we could probably talk to you all day. But
oh wait, I have one more question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead.
I want, because like you've already won some of these massive races. What's your like bucket list race to win?
My bucket list race, would be the Derby. That's why I got back in the. That's why I got back in this. You know, when I told Mark, I said, you know, my personal goal getting back in this is I want to go to the Derby. I'd never been to the Kentucky Derby because I wasn't going to go unless I had a horse in the race. And
well, I can't wait till Mark calls me when I have my first Derby horse, and then you guys can overpay for it. It'll be awesome. Have a great time.
But Billy, you're going to stay in, right? The silk situation might be messed up for that.
We'll let Clint run in his silks.
Woo! At least you guys are both blue and orange. It all works out.
No one will know. No one will know the difference.
Right?
Clint, hey, one last thing that we asked this for a lot of our people. We haven't been doing it lately, Michelle, and I kind of miss it. Someone new getting into the game of horse ownership. One really good, really strong piece of advice that you've learned.
Wow, that's a loaded question, Billy. I think initially you need to find somebody like yourself, like Mark, or even myself, our stable that has been around a while and that can guide them and provide them with educated information versus just, hey, send us some money and we'll go buy you a horse. You know what I mean? Because that's a losing proposition, and you know it as well as I do. I mean, I think they need to connect.
Hey, Mark. Hey, Clint. It could be even losing when we do know. We don't pick every winner either to see too, like nobody does.
No, I'm just looking for a 30% win clip, Billy.
Hey, we really appreciate your time. Please give our best to Mark. And
absolutely, I'm sure he's at the track looking for the next white Abarrio.
Absolutely, man. Continued success. We're big fans, and we hope you guys have a great have as good an end of the year as you've had to the start of the year. How about that?
Yeah, I hope we do. I think we will. We've got some nice races coming up for a lot of the horses, and hopefully we'll see you in the winner's circle.
You got it, Clint.
All right, guys.
Clint,
appreciate it.
Here on the Owner's Box. Thanks, pal. What a good interview, Michelle. Great get. I know he couldn't do it a couple weeks ago, but I'm glad we got him today.
Yeah, I'm glad we got him back. Although I'm sad White Abarrio's not going to Saudi.
Yeah,
all the American. I mean, a lot of the American horses. We have no American horses going now.
Yeah, they're making $20
million bucks. Is $20 million.
Money isn't everything, Michelle. You ruin the horse a lot of times, and if he runs 6th, then comes out and has to wait 6 months before he runs again, it doesn't work out, But yeah, they do a really good job. Mark's been in this game for a long, long time. He's paid his dues, and brother Clint is sure. He's like, they talk soul of an angel. I think Clint is Mark's angel. So I'm glad to have him back. What a good guy too. And I like the stuff he was saying about, the kill pens and stuff. Look, they're out there.
They
can't just pretend that they don't exist. So I feel like I completely hijacked that interview.
They do go in and verify that they, are a racehorse. They check tattoos. They, scan. They post the horses. And I appreciate that they don't just instantly jump to, the connection. Hey, this horse made $1 million with Little Red Feather. Why is he here? When, it was like 19 years ago. Like, so.
If we try, I keep in touch with a lot of people for our horses. Obviously, we have a big database and try to stay in touch and provide videos and pictures and make sure, a couple times a year we reach out. But sometimes you just lose track. Like, there's nothing we can do. We don't own the horse anymore.
Yeah.
There's only so much we can do. But I want to apologize because I feel like I completely hijacked that interview.
No, it was great.
Okay.
You have an existing relationship and you guys had a lot to talk about. It was fantastic.
Cool. Okay, cool. What do we have? Santa Anita, rainy. Woo! Are we gonna run on Friday?
So the track is currently sealed right now. We have gotten a lot of rain today, but hopefully, they were preemptively
they went all dirt.
Taking this into consideration by doing the all dirt. So I hope that kind of keeps us going. I feel like last week we had rain and we did the same thing, karting a mostly dirt card. We only had one grass race and we took it off the grass.
Right.
But it kind of set the precedence that, look, we are getting back into, where we're not afraid to run if it's wet anymore.
Yeah.
And I think that last week it was fine. So I would hope that we continue to race this week, because we have a 4-day race week on tap for us. We've got Valentine's Day on Friday. We've got Dumpling Day on Saturday.
Oh,
We've got the Winter Nationals for the
love
corgis
Dumpling Day.
on Sunday. I mean, there's so much stuff
And then we
going
got holiday racing on Monday.
and holiday racing on Monday. So I really genuinely hope that the weather cooperates and we're able to race this whole weekend, because there is some fun stuff. I mean, Dumpling Day alone, if I had to pick one thing for me, it'd be
Wait, what day
Dumpling
is
Day.
that? What day is that?
That's Saturday.
Oh, I'm going to be there.
Oh, are you? Oh, so $1 hot dog or $2 hot dogs, $1 beers on Monday, dumplings on Saturday, and Valentine's tomorrow. Do you get Valentine's gifts for your wife?
It's so funny. We have been doing this date night thing. So last Friday, I took her out to a really fun dinner.
Okay,
and then
where'd you guys go?
We went to Monty's right here. That's really fun. It's like this old school steakhouse right around the corner from our house.
Oh, I like it.
And then this, so it's her turn on Friday. It just happens to be Valentine's Day. So
wait, you guys like take turns picking the places?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. Okay.
Yeah, and we try to do it on Friday night. So I don't know where I'm going for Valentine's Day. And I actually asked her this morning. I'm like, are we doing like gifts? Do I need to get you something? Because she actually went to the mall yesterday on her own she had some things to do. And I said, could you do me a favor? Just pick out something you like. Like, buy yourself a gift. Like, why do I have to try to surprise you? Because if I surprise you, it's going to suck.
Yeah.
Right? It's just going to suck. So I said, tell me a couple things that you want. Would you want me to go today to go shopping for you? I would be happy to go buy with you something.
Do you normally do Valentine's gifts?
No, we do like a card, or like I'll get flowers or something. Yeah. When you've been married for this long, Michelle, all things are a little bit.
We don't do Valentine's in my house.
Yeah.
My kids get each a candy and that's it. I don't do manufactured.
Oh no, my wife will buy stuff for the kids and they're not even kids. They're big kids, but she'll buy chocolates and stuff. Be a fun day. Happy Valentine's Day, Michelle. I'm so glad we got back to the show. I'm glad you got safe from Ireland, and what a great guest in.
And I head to Saudi next week, but we generally do a show when I'm in Saudi. It's usually random and weird, but we'll do something.
We like random and weird. Thanks, everybody.
Appreciate it, guys. Bye.